Welcome back, everyone, to Gamery Den. So, we are going to be continuing the Stanley Parable 2, not Ultimate Edition, Ultra Deluxe. Did I screw that up? No retake. This is the Stanley Parable 2. Now, so this took us about two videos just to get over here, to get to the new content. I'm honestly very curious of how many possibilities there are. Each time I reboot the game, more and more possibilities just pop right out. For example, have you noticed that in every video I tend to show the time? Because that is the accurate time of what time I'm actually recording my gameplays. And they just really appreciate it. And then you see that there's going to be more sliders. So it's just the fact that when you just start up this game, there's already a possibility again. And then there's more and more opening it up. And we're going to find out what's going to happen now that we've just unlocked this gorgeous ending. So enough chit chat. Let's get started.
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
Okay, so we're getting this now.
Stanley worked for a company in a big
Balloons!
building where
Remember
he
the
was
balloons in the last
employee
video?
number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk.
I'm
in
just gonna
room
see if anything
427, and he
changed
pushed
besides the
buttons on
balloons.
keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in.
Yeah, I don't
been
think...
made exactly
Hold on.
his job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget.
There you go.
He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting.
What was the balloon say again?
Hi.
Happy
Never
birthday,
in all his years at the
Stepniece.
company
Happy 12th
had
birthday,
this
Stepniece.
happened. This
Senpai.
complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
All right. So we are getting the first start. We're getting some things already that are noticeable. Give me 1 second. If I remember correctly from the second gameplay, there was these numbers of desk. I just want to quickly look up the numbers in my book. I'll be right back. All right, so I'm back. So it was 431, 436, and 435 were the numbers that I saw where it was in the bucket. So I do not know if this has...
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Did that always do that before? Happy 12th birthday, Stepniece. So 431.
No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
435 and 436. 435. 436.
Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office, but it didn't make a single difference, nor did it advance the story in any way.
You're special, Mr. Narrator. You're very special. Close the door. Or not. Hold on the phone. 424. Hold on a second. Surname access. 2. Hey, Balloon, you're on the clock. Stop floating about and get to work. There's a bucket.
Stanley picked up the bucket.
Stanley threw the bucket. Hold on a frickin' second. Bucket. I got a bucket. I like the bucket. Hold the phone. Where's the new content now? Wait a minute, so how do we get new content?
Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find answers.
Now all the doors are closing. Okay, I am very confused. If this is the Stanley Parable 2, where's the new content? Because there is no way the new That was creepy. That was very creepy. Anywho, there is no way that the new content could have just showed up for just 2 endings and then poof, it disappeared. There has to be somewhere that the new content is now. Alright. You know what? Let me see here. Broom closet ending with bucket.
Oh, Stanley, can you feel it? The broom closet. It wants the bucket.
No!
You can feel that, can't you? The aura of jealousy. It's as clear as day. This broom closet believes it deserves the bucket.
My bucket.
I can really feel it now. It's a
My bucket.
It belongs in a broom closet.
No.
That's what the
My
broom
bucket.
closet is trying to say here.
No.
It's supposed to go with the other cleaning supplies. Good for you, Stanley. Don't give in. Don't hand over the bucket. I know how hard it must be, given the pressure that the broom closet is putting on your shoulders right now, but you have to be strong. This is your bucket. This is your companion and lifelong friend. You can't hand it over. Oh no. We're getting into name-calling now, it seems. Is this how low the broom closet has sunk, that it has to resort to this stream of petty insults simply in order to get you to hand over the bucket? Stanley, I never liked this broom closet for a variety of reasons, but even this is worse than I had imagined. And wait, now the broom closet has the gall to imply that you and the bucket are not truly deep and lasting friends? That your relationship is purely superficial and convenient? That your life is so banal and meaningless that you'd feel the same sort of kinship towards any inanimate object which happened to lay in your path in an even partially enticing manner? Well, I'd never. Go on, Stanley. Lay into it. Really tell the broom closet off for its demeaning comments. Expand on the wide variety of experiences you and the bucket have shared together. Go through each of them point by point. Share your journal entries detailing the rich emotional landscape of your feelings for the bucket as they have changed and evolved over the years. Let him have it.
Mr. Broom Closet, your ending was the
I've
best.
got you something which I think will help settle this debate once and for all.
Let me not talk at all.
There. Now it's settled. No more debate, no more discussion. Take a hike, broom closet, with all
Mind
your
you, broom
meandering
closet, this is
philosophical
my
diatribe
bucket.
about the nature of cleaning supplies and their relationship to broom closets in the natural order of things.
Me and the bucket are soulmates, Broom Closet. You cannot have
All right, I've got
my
a second
bucket.
sticker back here, and I'm going to slap it on as well because I think it's appropriate. You see, I feel that it works because the sticker is also a bucket. That way, if you're ever unsure whether the thing you're holding is a bucket or not, you can look down at this sticker and say to yourself, "Ah, it's a bucket." There really is a wide variety of applications for this sticker.
Can I get another sticker, Mr. Narrator? I like stickers a lot. Hold on.
You know what? I could take the name-calling and the dismissal of your kinship with but now, the broom closet is just giving us a silent treatment.
How
and to be honest,
dare!
I'm sick of the pettiness on display. You can stay here all you like, but I've had it with this impetulant room of cleaning supplies. Easily the most childish such room I've ever been in. I'll see you outside, and we can get on with the story about you and your bucket.
Huh. Alright, Mr. Broom. This is my bucket. It says property of Stanley with a sticker implying that it is a bucket. This bucket holds sentimental meaning to me. This bucket is a reminder that I am nothing. This bucket is nothing without something inside. And I know that totally sounds really wrong, and that came out wrong, and that sounds so much better in my mind, but when I said it out loud and heard it back to myself, it sounded really wrong what I say. However, you really gotta understand, is the bucket or is it the cup? And is it half full or is it half empty? You answer that. Because me and this bucket, we belong together. So fudge you, me and this bucket don't need your ending. And now this is the part where we have our head up high and walk around the broom closet. This is our property. Now, I would go downstairs, but I wouldn't want to end the game just yet. Oh, look!
You found one of them. One of the miniature Stanley figurines. Remember, no reward for collecting all of these, only the intrinsic pleasure of a job well done.
Mm-hmm.
You can't buy that sort of happiness, Stanley. God knows I've tried. So, I implore you to savor each and every moment you come across one of these beautiful figurines.
I love it. I love the glory. Alright, so it looks to me... Now there's a... If I was to go out here, would I get the mural ending again? That is something I don't want. You know what I mean? I have a bucket. Give me something different this time.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished?
All the doors
His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. He looked down at the bucket in his arms. Am I crazy? He asked the bucket. The bucket returned his gaze, but said nothing at all. That's strange, Stanley thought. Usually the bucket is a source of guidance and wisdom for me in difficult times such as these. He held the bucket close, yet felt none of its familiar reassurance and comfort. And that's when Stanley realized, this isn't my bucket. It's just a normal, everyday bucket. Someone else's bucket, perhaps. How did I end up with someone else's bucket? This is all terribly wrong.
This is not
Surely
my bucket.
no good would come from this. Who knows what sorts of bizarre hallucinations Stanley might experience without the psychologically grounding presence of his bucket. And indeed, now he noticed that the rooms were repeating, which was, of course, very odd. And now he felt himself floating off the ground. Oh, gracious, he exclaimed. Without my bucket, I've gone truly mad. Where is it? I must find it. Far off in the distance now, he heard it, calling to him. Stanley! Stanley, it's me, the bucket. Could it truly be? He rushed forward from room to room, passing by one bucket after the next.
Where's the bucket?
None of them were his. None of them were his special bucket. Come to me, Stanley. Find me. He had to find the bucket. He had to return to his old friend. It was the only way to truly restore his sanity. And then suddenly, he froze dead in his tracks. He knew where the voice of the bucket had been coming from. The real bucket was inside of him all along. It was incredibly painful. Stanley doubled over in agony and blacked out.
That was new.
This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
Is she gonna have a bucket now? I swear, if
Mariella
she
woke
has
up
a
on a day
bucket,
like any other.
if she has a
She
bucket,
arose,
if that's
got
the only
dressed,
thing
picked
new,
up her
she has a
of
bucket,
comfort and security, and walked
I'm
to
gonna
her
love
place
it.
of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town, talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. Right away, she knew what the problem was. This man had no bucket. Of course he'd gone mad, ranting and raving about a narrator describing all of his actions and how everything is predetermined and free will is an illusion and it's all just a video game. It could all have been prevented if only he'd taken his bucket with him. Perhaps he didn't even realize he'd forgotten his bucket at home in the first place. How cruel the world can be, Mariella thought, and she hugged her own bucket even tighter.
Share the
But
bucket.
of course, she had no time for this. There were a myriad of confusing problems she would soon have to confront at work, for which her bucket would provide absolute guidance and total clarity on everything. Heck yes, she thought to herself, my life kicks ass. And she backflipped all the way to work.
You hear that, folks? Mural of the story. Get your own damn bucket. All right, so we're back here again. Let me go get our bucket. Let me go get the stickers, and let's see where we go from there.
Go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Figurine Finders Committee meeting today in the meeting room. That's new. Oh, look! The stickers are back!
Stanley
Oh, that's
lifted
great.
the bucket into his arms, and a wave of comfort rushed over him.
Okay, so that's great. 521. Awaiting input. Item received. Input received. Who farted? The bucket farted. Okay. So there is a couple of new stuff that I'm starting to slowly realize, like these computers. Did my office door closed? Yeah, it closed.
Stanley clung the bucket to his cheek. Could his co-workers really all be gone?
So that was 435. The bucket. Life is so complete with the bucket. I think I'm gonna go to the meeting today to try to find all the figurines. Hold on, 423. I don't understand what this is. Input received. Oh, this is new. This is new and creepy. This is new and creepy. Warehouse access plan. Produce one plant to allow ease of access past fence. Construct bridge to allow collection of shiny float. Retrieve Krisp's remains. Construct a new structurally sound bridge. Figures are hard to find. Maybe we are collectibles. Shut the frick up. To whom they consider managed to pick up sounds unusual. Unusual to our regular office and based on the local audio sources. Yada yada yada. Microphone which picks up sound. Wait, what? Well, we know okay, hold on. Alright, I'm so sorry, folks. It's just that this is so much to absorb. This is so cool. Managed to pick up the unusual sound. Analysis of the recordings allowed me to triangulate the source of the strange noises. Data shows that in all likelihood it comes from a dark area behind a very warm place. I also picked up what it looks to be remembrance of a porcelain surface. Anyone have any leads on this? Wouldn't you like to know? So, what else? From downstairs, there will be a reward for finding them all. Stop kidding yourself. I want them so much. I want to go home. There will be cleaning of this wall afterward required. Oh my god. Missions inside. Oh, look at this. Places to search. Looks like... Okay, is this something? A kind of a game? A large room, lots of boxes. Some were both red and blue. Nearby a flower place, a private but smelly place for an important person. Oh, okay, so one of them has to be by the boss's office. Beware the false prophets. What's this? Collecting is sexy. Collecting is sexy, all right? Don't let nobody tell you nothing otherwise. You're not a nerd. You're not nothing. Collecting is awesome. Trust me, you'll go broke. You'll go broke. If you have a collection, you're probably broke like me and have a lot of debt. Because collecting is fun. Because collecting is sexy. So remember that. Okay, so I am going to write these clues down just in case the next time we walk past this door and we don't see it, I don't have to look it up. So stay right there. Stay. All right, what am I doing writing down in the book? Why am I thinking about writing down in a book? We have technology. Wait, what is this? Where are they? Please do not leave the office before reporting back on any new findings. Teamwork and communication are of great importance during the unpredicted time of investigation. Thank you. So, all right. Inside this, okay, we got that. Stairs, something to do. We got that already. A large room, lots of boxes, probably the warehouse. Somewhere both red and blue will probably be the warehouse again. Nearby a fireplace and a private but smelly place. So I am suspecting that we have to follow to the boss's office. So let's do that. Anything in here? Are you jelly of my bucket, Mr.
Stanley,
Broom again?
we must move on from this broom closet, simply because I have no remaining stickers. If I did, you can guarantee we'd be in here for hours. But alas, no stickers.
I want my sticker, Mr. Narrator. Do you have any more stickers? Let's go. So this time we're going to go up.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
All right, so we're going to go upstairs. And here we are. Executive bathroom. Ooh. Oh, money in the morning, money in the evening, money for breakfast, and money crisps. And here we go.
Another miniature Stanley figurine. This, there really must be a snappier name for these things. What about mini stands?
Mini stands.
What about Stanlerines? Yes, I think I like that. Another Stanlerine under your belt.
Sounds kind of dirty. Stanlerine. Another Stanlerine under your belt. Stanlerine. 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 It doesn't really roll off the tongue, Mr. Narrator, but money's money. And I do like collecting.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster fire if not for the soothing presence of the bucket. Even now, in his darkest of hours, did the bucket's warmth and guiding light pierce the dark clouds of confusion and chaos. It would be with him always. The bucket would, and he knew it. The two of them were inseparable. At this point, Stanley was so absorbed in the tender spiritual connection he shared with the bucket that he didn't notice the keypad behind the boss's desk.
I noticed
Nor
it.
in his bliss of simply being near the bucket did he have any notion that the PIN number for the keypad was 2845.
2845. Thank you, Mr.
But
Narrator.
Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
Here we go. Let's see if this is going to lead us somewhere now. look. Another
Lately, I'm
Stanley.
going back to the name of these little Stanley figurines, and now I'm torn between Stanlerines and Figlies. What do you think, Stanley? What name better encapsulates the intrinsic sense of happiness that you get from seeing a small number in the corner of your screen go up by 1? Let me sit on it. I'm sure it will come to me.
I will have to say Figlings. Figlings sound peppy, more cheerful. If I was to go in here, will I fall to my doom? All right, so let's do this.
The elevator raced downward, plummeting towards an unknown fate. It would be all Stanley could do to keep himself together, if not for the bucket.
I love
Soothing
the bucket.
him, comforting him, reassuring that in this darkest moment of uncertainty, he would be all right. The bucket is here for you, Stanley. Everything will be fine.
All right, so we need a name for this bucket. Meaning Stanley? Nah, too cheesy. Pablo. Yeah. Pablo the bucket. I like it. All right, Pablo, you're coming with me.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Ooh, I'm tempted to put escape, but mind control facility. Let's go to mind control facility, because we're gonna do this all over again. Alrighty, show me what you got.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered to themselves.
Wow, this is awesome. You know what this reminds me of? Of that shoot. Do you remember the X-Men movies? And do you remember when Xavier went into the room with all the devices? Was it called Cerebral, I think? I forget. I haven't watched X-Men in a long time, but I hope you know what I'm talking about. What's this?
The monitors jumped to life, and Stanley nearly dropped the bucket in shock. Everyone in the office was being videotaped, monitored like guinea pigs. The bucket had never seen anything like this, and it very nearly burst into tears as Stanley
there, Pablo.
it gently, reassuring it that everything would be fine.
Employee fired. There was a little glitch right there. Hold on, there's a lot of employees. I wonder what we're doing. Wait a minute. Employee 528. Hold on, I want to see this. Employee 528? What is that? That is so bizarre. This is really cool. Oh, here we go.
Was the bucket under the mind control facility's influence as well? Had the bucket been told to do things it didn't wish to do? What kinds of things does a bucket want to do or not want to do in the first place?
The bucket wants to be free.
These questions raced furiously in Stanley's feeble mind.
Okay.
No! He screamed into the bucket. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! He squeezed the bucket tighter. His one friend in the entire world.
Me and the bucket.
At this point, he could trust no one except for the bucket.
Exactly. Pablo is here with me right now. He will help me get through this.
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he and the bucket would dismantle the controls for good. Two best friends, Stanley and the bucket, up against the world. They high-fived in a really cool way, and the bucket made a sassy comment about taking down the system.
What kind of comment would the bucket have? I don't know. I can't think of anything snarky. So click the buttons. Click, click, click. Click, click, click. Click, click, click. We're gonna click the buttons until they break. That's what we're gonna do. That's what console to save. That is what my mind is telling me. That is what Pablo is telling me. You know what? Maybe that's the joke Pablo is making inside my head. He's telling me that I have to click every single button. You have to spam everything until they are destroyed. Because that's the only way you're going to win in life. 5. 5. 5. Okay, is the 5 just a button? Hold on. I feel like we're going to have to do this all over again because there are some important things that probably won't unlock until I play the first gameplay. And then when we come back, it might appear. So we'll see about that. All right, let's do this. Mind control.
When at last they came to the source of the room's power, Stanley and the bucket knew it was their obligation to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for.
On or off? On.
But at the last second, the bucket jumped in and pressed the button to turn on the controls. Stanley gasped in horror. Had this been the bucket's plan all along?
Yes.
To take over the machine and claim the power for itself? How could the bucket have betrayed him like this? Stanley was prepared to throw the bucket away in disgust when suddenly an image appeared upon the enormous screen. Birds. Silly, silly birds. The control buttons became active again.
Oh. So are the birds... Do we control the birds? Okay.
Stanley flipped through one video of silly birds after another, and then it dawned on him. This wasn't a mind control facility at all. It was a facility for monitoring and surveilling silly birds all over the world. The mind controls were only a facade to disguise its true intentions. Had the bucket known this all along?
Interesting.
Stanley marveled at the metal genius in his hands, the one who had pointed him towards this incredible discovery. Stanley and the bucket never found freedom because they spent the rest of their lives here in this place, living through live streams of the silliest birds imaginable. Of all the possible paths his life could have taken, this one was surely the best. And Stanley was happy.
That owl has my face right now. Like, seriously, this is an ending. You serious? You gotta be fudging me. Alright, so I have time for one more ending because this video has been going on for about an hour, and when I edit it out, you know the whole dilly. You understand what I mean. We are gonna, you know what? I'm very curious at the escape option if that changed. So bear with me. If nothing interesting happens here, we're gonna jump right to the mind control facility and I'm gonna take the escape route. So let's see if this is gonna be a cool transaction. So yeah, I thought this was gonna be a really cool transaction that, with the hand movement and then I'll magically appear right where the mind control facility is. But yeah, something interesting just happened here. Look at this. 423 now. I believe this was in 419 where it said input received. Now look at this one. Input received 2 at desk 423 and there's only 3 more left. So something I'm doing is helping me progress further, and I honestly have no idea. I'm pretty sure it's the amount of endings, so we'll find that out. All right, so let me see. You know what? No, I'm not gonna bother. I was gonna do another cool transaction with the whole flowy hand movements and everything, but I just want to take you to the broom closet again and see if we get another sticker. All right, so somewhere both red and blue, and a large room, lots of boxes. So we're missing these two now. All right. Broom closet.
Stanley, we must move on from this broom closet, simply because I have
All
no
right. He
remaining
says the
stickers.
same
If I
thing.
did, you can guarantee we'd be in here for hours. But alas, no stickers.
Okay, that is something that I want to look up online just because I don't want to waste a good couple of hours just standing in the broom closet. If it's probably like just wait 1 hour in the broom closet and get the sticker, maybe. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to check this broom closet out. So let's. We are going to the mind control facility. Next time you see this transaction, it'll probably be really terrible transaction. And boop, whoosh, and we're back. It probably looks bad when I start editing the video. But that's okay. Bad is good. Bad is funny. Now we are gonna take the escape route. Escape. Let's do this.
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley and the bucket would both meet a violent death. The door behind them was not shut. Stanley and the bucket still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley and the bucket were knowingly walking forward into a very painful death for each of them.
Um, that was not the death, but that certainly is interesting. Oh my. Ooh, okay, Pablo. I don't know where we are, Pablo.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley and the bucket inched closer to their demise, Stanley reflected on how meaningless the bucket's warmth and comfort had turned out to be. To be sure, it puts the mind and the soul at ease to embrace the bucket, but what use is a sense of ease when you're about to be crushed to death? This is what Stanley thought to himself, and he sort of kicked himself for wasting so much time carrying a bucket everywhere. Farewell, Stanley.
Are you serious?
"Farewell, Stanley," cried the narrator, as Stanley and the bucket were led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, the bucket's life came to an end as it was crushed violently to death.
No, Pablo! Oh, we got a female narrator now, and she just saved us. What is this? The Stanley Parable.
It was a shame, the death of such a magnificent bucket. It's true that all buckets are radiant in their own way, but this one stood above the rest. It was a glorious bucket to behold.
Where is she taking me? The bucket. Welcome you to the exhibit. We are standing at the precipice of knowledge. Much like a bucket itself, the human mind is frequently empty within a carnivorous void. But through use of the exhibit in front of you, the mind becomes full of enriched and sustained knowledgeable of the bucket and its history of the only true knowledge we only have. The bucket has a name. His name is Pablo. Get it right. Pablo meant the entire world to us. He was our soulmate. And we let him die just like that. But no worries, he'll come back in the next game. Will you take what you learn here out with you into the world? Will you accept with an open mind what may be challenging about the information in this exhibit? Will you change the lives of yourself and your loved ones as a result of this exhibit? Or will you turn a blind eye and continue to live as you were in the ignorance of darkness? All right. So we're getting a new exhibit. This is cool. What is this? All right, this is so freaking awesome. This is just freaking awesome. This is
Can you see how arrogant it was for Stanley to take a bucket like this and to claim it for his own? Can you see the
Pablo.
hubris that blinded him? Can you see that the bucket is far more noble than Stanley will ever be in
Bye
his
bye
short
bucket.
life?
Oh, Pablo, he's ascending to the heavens with the great gods where he will become our guardian and look over us as he said, you sacrificed my life for yours. Was it really worth it at the end, Stanley? Was it worth it? My life for yours. I was a bucket full of opportunity. I had great potential, the bucket said. And as he nobly sacrificed himself, our lives, he ascended to the heavens. And if I have cool SFX sound effects and everything, you'll see trumpets playing and little Cupid babies just all around. But I highly doubt I can do that in the editing. But just picture it. Just picture it in your mind. The Sistine Chapel and the bucket ascending. Okay, that's enough, Pablo. I'm over you. Oh, there's a lot of Pablos here. 25 buckets, a photography of 25 buckets, the greatest number of buckets ever captured on camera. The photographer experienced chaotic shock from several weeks as a result of the empora, am I pronouncing that right? From exposure to this many buckets at once. All right, so let me just say this really quickly because I am finding this super cool. So when I was in college, I studied art administration. So I was just basically taught of how to present artwork in museums, correct lighting, correct serial number on the bottom for when you import them from like a museum gallery, or when you receive products and you get the SKU, you keep them in the books and everything, yada yada yada. What I find really fascinating is the fact that they really kept this to a minimum. This whole thing is just minimalistic. Yeah, I would say minimalistic because you have the lighting, you have the fence over here presenting the bucket ascending to the gods, and there's like a little room right over here, which is kind of cool. I'm kind of curious. Anywho, you have all of that to create the illusion. You have the light. I'm pretty sure there's lightings in the back over here. Well, you see shadow, but you will have them in the back just to create an allure. You have it perfectly framed. Exposure is beautiful. You have the contrast of light and darks. The developers of this game really, really outdid themselves. I will have to say that this is truly amazing. I really wish we had a jump function just to kind of check out the back. And this one, come on, we all know about this one. This one is the Leonardo one. A bucket with two handles. The bucket is depicted as having two handles. Listen, depicted is such a popular word in the art universe. Just trust me in this. Just trust me. Everyone says depicted, depicted, depicted. It's just a little fact I just wanted to share with you. Such a design has never been created in real life, having been deemed too dangerous and reckless experimental. Every year, dozens are put to death just for attempting it. Double bucket, double trouble. So you see the lighting over here? Really nice, really minimalistic, really everything. The reason why you have museums and galleries just have everything kept at a minimal so that way there's no distractions in the walls is because white brings out the contrast of the brightness, so that way you can really focus on the painting itself. Sometimes when you go to museum, you see they have a really dull color, probably like a brown, probably a oh, I forgot what was that name. It started with an S. It was like a reddish brown color. Sometimes it's that to bring out Renaissance, 19, not 19. I would have to say around 80s European paintings, yeah, around like that, European paintings, because they really have dull art colors. And sometimes it's more better to bring out the brightness of those pictures because they are old. You have to remember this is from the 1800s, 1700s, 1600s, and their way of painting is, lead painting. They don't have the materials we have now. So we can bring out brighter colors. They cannot bring out bright colors. They have dull colors. They paint with charcoal. They create with charcoal. They create on, this type of paper. So if you were to put this type in just a white background, you would bring out the dull null effect, and it really won't create a brighter atmosphere if you were just to put a picture. uh let's just say I wanted to put the no, I wouldn't use a Mona Lisa. Contrast of black and gray, was it? I don't know, my mind is going poof. I'm trying not to talk too much about art right now because I want to focus on the game, but you know, it gets me really excited talking about art, to be honest. It's something that I miss. Anywho, so if I was to want to put a painting from Leonardo da Vinci, one of his sketches, I wouldn't put it in a white background because, as you can tell from over here, it really does not, it makes the painting blend into the background, and that is something you don't want to do. So you're going to want to put it into a dull, a dull color. Reddish brown is usually very popular. Nothing too bright, just a really dull, no color. So that way the painting can really pop out. Just like this photography right here. This photography is something that is brand new. It's new, it's hit. Put it against a white background, and you can honestly see the pop effect right there. That's just something that I just wanted to share with you all. A little bit of art knowledge that I've been studying for years that unfortunately went down the drain. Anywho, let's get back to this. All right, so now we have Le Bucket. Inferno Bucket, a replica of the Inferno Bucket, which in the medieval era was so powerfully alluring that it drove dozens of nations to war with one other for control of it. Billions died, and yet, in spite of it all, the simple fact remains: no one can control a bucket but me. Give me, give me, I want the bucket. Okay, that's just funny right there. Oh, this is a replica. I must find. Oh, cave paintings. Oh, anatomy. Okay, okay. Everyone, I'm having a geeky moment right now. This is just so freaking cool. This is so freaking cool. If there's anything I love more is museums, and this is so freaking amazing. The stress bucket presented without commentary. Commentary by me. The stress bucket, an analogy: worrying, negative procrastinating, negative thinking, and lack of reassurance, vulnerability, size, and strength of the bucket. Coping strategy tools: rest and relaxation, doing something you enjoy, rest and relaxation. Stress of the level of the water of the bucket. I probably read that all wrong, but that's totally fine. We're just gonna ignore that commentary. Look at this. Only one light is to kind of present. You see right there? All six lighting. I'm pretty sure if it was a more brighter piece, they would have brightened up the entire area. One light. I don't know if this is a clue, but that one light really does highlight the boldness right over here. All right, enough geeking around. I'm so sorry if I bore you so much with all my art talk. Cave drawings. Oh, this is so cool. This is exactly how you will see cave paintings in the Neanderthal period. Ah, this is so freaking amazing. Except you wouldn't see it with this kind of bright lighting because that would damage the artwork itself, knowing that this is like BC error. So the BC error, this type of lighting can really harsh the pigments of those cave paintings. They can really kind of dim it out, dry it out, and then it'll just become like it'll fade away. So you will see another little fact about artworks. They will spend a lot of money in frames and everything. That is why I don't sell artworks, because you really got to spend a lot of money on framing, custom frames, because when it's really well preserved, it like for example, if you were to use ink, you will really have to buy like a UV protective frame, so that way the glare of the sun won't harsh on the ink, and the ink won't fade away, the ink won't break down the papers, etc., etc. And then there are certain ways that you have to keep the paintings like away from the windows and etc. Again, I'm so sorry about talking so much about art. It's just something I miss a lot. Oh my goodness, but this is just so freaking cool. This is just so cool. Keep drawing. While we know that the buckets predict the existence of mankind, we do not know by how long. This cave drawing depicts. All right, folks, remember that depicts is a very popular word. Is because when you say depict, it's just something that the art image is supposed to represent or is supposed to copy. It's just a really, really fancy word. Trust me. Depicts early man's discovery of the practical uses of the bucket, by which time the bucket had already likely been around for several millennia. Noticed in these drawings how the bucket is allowing itself to be used, having judged humanity to be worthy of its treasures. So we have the bucket here giving us food and rain. We shall all worship Pablo.
No man can own a bucket, and certainly not a bucket as dazzling to behold as this one. It is man who should kneel before the bucket.
That is true. Okay, so I'm so sorry for always just stopping and just sharing a little bit of art facts. I should just do that every time I play a museum game or something. Just go random art facts 101. So what I've noticed here is that this museum is really, really controversial. However, I love it. I'm freaking loving it. You know why? Is because you have medieval period here. You have European art right over here, supposed to represent Leonardo da Vinci. You have New Age photography. You have sketches right over here, the stress bucket. You have, and it talks about that. You have BC era cave drawings. And and now if you look over here, you have columns here. These types of columns, I will assume, represent the Doric era. There are three types of columns: Corinthian, Ionic, and Doric. Not in that correct order. It will be Ionic, Doric, and Corinthian. Corinthian is the one with all the fancy flowers and everything. Doric is plain and simple. Ionic, you have the little swirl at the end, swirl, straight swirl. Yeah, I'm not gonna get into too much details about those three columns because I stressed out so much in exams trying to figure out the age, what they represent, what was during that era, and you have to know so much artifacts when you study art history. Trust me about them. But it's all very fascinating. I love it. Let's move on. I really would love to get behind there, to be honest. The hanging bucket. Oh, now we're in the main exhibit. This piece symbolizes the necessary relationship between the bucket and humanity. However, clear our grasp of the bucket, maybe there is yet more that is always out of reach. This distance, inevitable, is for our own good. So, do we The game is telling me to jump. I know it. Pablo! Huh? I just straight up took the bucket.
There is something we can do. Something we can do together, you and I, that will right this terrible wrong. Let Stanley die. Let him be crushed by the machine. Don't reset the game. Don't give him another opportunity to run off.
Oh! Shit, that's so freaking cool. That is so freaking cool. Okay, I'm going to wait a little bit and I'm going to reset the game and I'm going to see what happens.
With another beautiful bucket, we can save the world's buckets from their treatment as tools and implements. If only we let Stanley die together. The bucket should take its place as ruler, as leader, as
Okay, that was freaking cool. That was freaking cool. That was cool. Let me see if anything new happened. So give me a second. Okay, so I'm gonna go for one more ending because this game has been going on for quite a while. I'm going to do one more ending and then I'm gonna finish it
Coming to a
off there.
staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
So I'm gonna go through this way now. I can't believe this. Business strategy. This poor panda. I don't like it. I don't like that painting. Can I throw the bucket at it? Can Pablo just... Hold on. I can't... Oh, there you go. Okay. So now where am I heading? So am I going down or up? Stanley. Am I gonna die in this elevator? Oh, that's the narrator talking. Is the narrator humming? Or the narrator's humming? Oh! Are you serious? I could have just clicked it the entire time? Hold on. No way. It's just an experience? This is just an elevator simulator, isn't it?
Would both meet a violent death.
Okay, so we're back in the escape route again. I'm gonna let Stanley
The door
die,
behind
and
them
I'm
was
gonna
not
see what's
shut.
gonna happen after
Stanley
there.
and the bucket still had every opportunity to...
Okay, so very quickly, just very quickly, this is ionic column. This is an ionic column. This is how ionic columns will appear. If you want to know more about art history, go play Assassin's Creed. Just trust me. Just go play Assassin's Creed. It will really help you. That's how I got A's on my tests and finals and exams. And that's how I got ideas for presentations and how I managed to write like 40-page paper. Just trust me. Go play Assassin's Creed. All right. So we are going to continue this.
But there is something we can do. Something we can do together, you and I, that will right this terrible wrong.
All right, so we are going to die with the bucket. Yes, we are going to die with the bucket, and we're going to see what type of ending we're going to get.
Give him another opportunity to run off with another beautiful bucket. We can save the world's buckets from their treatment as tools and implements if only we let Stanley die.
We got this. We got this. We're in this together. We're in it to win it. Russia! Ooh, that gotta hurt. Look at that. Would you look at that? The bucket is there. Let me take a look at this. Look at that.
Stanley picked up the bucket and smiled. He'd never be alone again, not truly alone, not with the bucket around.
Oh. So now we have a different option here. So I'm pretty sure as soon as we enter this, we can either go left or right. All right, folks. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to leave it up. I'm going to leave it off in this episode because this episode has been going on for such a long time. I've been playing for 4 hours because it's so awesome, this game. Anywho, So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look up online of how to get all the new content endings, because there is so much possibilities in this game. There's so many endings to get. There's so many little details you can literally miss. Like if you were to go to the broom closet in the beginning of the game, you get the funny broom closet ending, just like if you were to play the Stanley Parable 1. Now that we have Stanley Parable number 2, we go in there with the bucket to the broom closet, we get funny dialogues. So I want to get all this new content information. I want to know, about the left door. I want to know how many endings are there for the new content. What can we get? And then I want to go through the other door of what we originally go through when we don't listen to the narrator, and how things are going to change. So for the next episode, I hope you are looking forward to it, because we are going to unlock more new content for the Stanley Parable 2. I hope you enjoy watching this gameplay as much as I enjoy playing this game. Please do consider liking and subscribing, because it just makes me cheer up when I see at least one little like. Trust me. Anywho, I hope you liked this episode, guys, and I will definitely catch you on the next one. Catch you later, folks.